Hello, hi, welcome again to another video. This week we have a very special guest to us, our very good friend Ali. Do you want to introduce yourself or something about you?
Yeah. Hello, I'm Ali, and I'm 23, and I currently live in Cambridge, but I met these girls at high school.
Yes. Many years ago.
Many moons ago. Thank you guys for having me.
Thank you for joining us. We're really pleased to have you. Okay, let's jump into this episode's topic. We are talking about marital expectations. As we say this a lot, we are ethnic women, so we often speak from ethnic women's experience. But of course, we will discuss about other people's perspective, like other cultures, etc. But mainly, most of our opinions and viewpoints come from our upbringings and our background. So let's bear that in mind. Let's jump into it. We are talking about marital expectations and expectations placed on a woman specifically. Men, there are expectations on men, but currently we are talking about the ones placed on women. So, straight off the bat, I want to ask you guys, how many of you are willing to live with your husband's parents?
Yeah, I'd say so. There's no shame in it.
Yeah, if it's necessary, then why not?
I'm not against it, but I think in a lot of situations, like, it just happens. You don't really have much of a choice. It's just sort of just gonna happen.
Would you say if 4 men... Go on.
Pardon?
Are you gonna get a choice?
That's what I'm saying. Like, I can only speak from my community or like the kind of people I'm around, and I feel like a lot of women, it's so natural that it's not questioned very often, or if it is questioned, it's usually like why are you being selfish, or why are you trying to take away your partner from his family, which I think is because the sort of community I come from are so tight knit that to expect anything otherwise is like breaking the norm.
So you're expecting it then, yeah?
No, I'm not saying I'm just talking about like people in general in my community. For me, it really does depend on who you're with. If I was to be with someone from my community, there's like a 50% chance that they do expect that. And it's usually not even a conversation until like really later on. When really, I think it's something that should be a conversation very early on, because I think people should really know what they're getting themselves into.
Absolutely. Would you say if 4 men were sitting right now having these conversations and someone presented the question, would you live with your wife's parents, what the answer would be?
That's not the norm.
Yeah, definitely. It's not the norm. You wouldn't really expect that. And I mean, fair play to guys that say, yeah, sure, we'll do it. But it's just, it's not commonplace, is it?
Yeah. So in that sense, is the woman willing or being expected to give up her family and her livelihood? If we're talking about, as Gunjan said, you call selfish, why are you trying to get him away from his family? Well, the same goes for a girl. She's leaving her family.
Because, well, you're marrying into the guy's family, aren't you? You're becoming a part of his family.
Yeah. But do you think that narrative can be changed instead of you marrying into his family, that 2 people can get married and that?
I mean, if we're going towards equality, then yes, it should be changed.
Is that an expectation in your communities, like where you're from, Sharon, or where you're from, Najma? Or is this you just discussing what, like, in those communities, what it's like?
In Somalia, there's no other way. There's really no other way. When you get married, when a girl gets married, she goes live with her husband's parents, well, her husband's house. And when a boy gets married, the woman lives with him. There's just no 2-way about it. There's no 2 people living on their own. In Somalia, we have everything's extended family. So yeah, it's not like speaking from Asian community or whatever. For me, it is the actual reality. There's no other option. You don't even see the odd ones who did it.
Yeah. What about from?
No. The first time I heard about living with in-laws, maybe I'm ignorant to my culture, but the first time I heard it was from Asian people.
Asian culture?
Yeah.
Mm.
The way my dad's, when I've spoken to my dad about this before, and the way he sees it was, it's changing now, but he tells me back in his day, when he was back in Afghanistan, right? When someone got married into a family, they usually didn't live in that village maybe, or what they would move over to a different village. So what they would literally do is go over to that village for a 2-night stay with the intention of getting their daughter married to someone. It's sometimes it wasn't even like, okay, this is the person she's going to marry. They were just going to go to that village because they knew some people there, and they would literally travel, go there, and she would get married and they would leave her there and they would move away. That was how it was. Like, not my dad, but like, this is my dad telling me about his dad. So really backwards. But yeah, so then it was like, okay, they're literally in different towns, and obviously there's no other way of people getting married. Love stories didn't exist, right? Not really, not in reality. But now it's like people have choices and they're making these choices. So now I don't think it makes as much sense to live with your in-laws, because it just doesn't make as much sense as it did then, I guess.
I understand why there was a reason for it, because male were the sole providers.
Yeah.
What good of a man going to live in another town, another village, whatever it is, and leave his livelihood behind when there's literally nothing to live on?
Mm-hmm.
But now women provide for themselves. So is there still a need for it? But we still have that. We still, even to this day, people go to live with their in-laws. So is there a need for it?
Does that mean it's okay if some women obviously make the choice not to work or not to provide? They choose to be homemakers and, do it that way instead. That's the lifestyle that they choose. Does that mean that I guess it does make more sense for them then to live at home?
If you choose to be a housewife, which is a perfectly fine decision as well, like I support it. If you make that decision, it's very unfair to ask someone else to practically turn their whole life upside down.
Yeah.
And if he can't afford his own home or whatever, and he's living with his parents, and you're not really bringing any financial support, then in that sense, yes.
But do you know what? Going back to women, yeah, a lot of women are like put into this light where it's like, okay, but like she managed to get a ring out of him, or she convinced him. It's like getting married is just like another, like, especially in movies and stuff, it's seen as like something like that a guy has to be convinced to do.
On achievement, it's almost like winning a gold medal.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, a lot of people do see it like as an achievement, because it's like one of the things you have to do in life. You go to school, you get a job, you get married, you have kids, in that order. So,
but that expectation is not placed on men. Women, from the moment you're born, for majority of cultures, you're groomed to be a wife.
Yeah.
Whereas men, if a man gets married, good. If he doesn't, good. Whereas a woman, it is a milestone every woman should cross.
So would you guys be okay if you never got married ever?
No. I don't know. Do you know what? This past week I've been thinking about it, because I don't know, I've just been thinking about it, and sometimes I think like do I want to get married because I'm like it's something I should do, or is it because I actually want to spend that much time with another person?
You can spend much time with that person without getting married.
Yeah. Like, no, actually, like from in my community's perspective, I can't move in with my boyfriend. I can't move in with him until after we're married. Like, you don't actually get to spend time publicly in front of your family or do a lot of things. You are a bit restricted when you're dating before you let your parents know that this is the person that you're going to basically get married to. So for us, I think it's a lot more, getting engaged in general is more like about not just about making it official, but suddenly having access to like being able to go out with them and to do things with them. So it's not just about that, I don't think.
What about you, Ali?
I would say I would be happy not getting married, but that's purely because I think you can have a long-lasting relationship with somebody and still be happy. I guess I hold the view that most people hold now, I think, as we're getting more progressive, that marriage is just a piece of paper at the end of the day. And I guess it is a construct as well that we have created ourselves. And I guess it is quite religious in some aspects. But if you want to be with somebody, a marriage doesn't always bind you. I mean, there's been loads of people that have been married, well, not married, but in a relationship for 20 odd years or more, and they seem to be happy without, you know, I would say taking the next step. But really, what is the next step? Because marriage doesn't always have to be a next step per se for some people. So I think as long as you've got the right person, it shouldn't really matter.
If you get married or not, I agree.
Yeah.
I think like marriage from culturally is really important. As Gunjan said, in my culture, you're not supposed to live with somebody. You're not, when you get married, that's when you are together. Outside it, you're just living in sin, basically. You can't have children. To this day, children who are born out of wedlock, there's a stigma attached to it in Somalia. Really, people call them names. It's not a good thing to happen to them.
You don't
If I was a woman living in Somalia, I would not subject that life to a child or to my family's well-being. You could happily live together for years and years and years without being married. However, married couples enjoy better legal rights than cohabiting couples. If you are thinking from a, let's say, a strategic point of view, it's always beneficial to get married.
What sort of benefits?
Like financially, legally, it's better. You have more rights to your spouse than you are to your boyfriend.
Yeah, that is correct. I believe, isn't that deep-rooted in the fact that we have had the Church of England and everything, and the government just want to uphold those values that we've had for so long in England. So they do want to increase these incentives to encourage us to get married.
Absolutely.
What do you guys think of prenups? What would you do if your fiance turned around and said to you, I want a prenup?
I think prenups are a good idea.
Do you think?
Because obviously no one gets married to get divorced, but things happen, you know?
And divorce brings the ugly out of people.
And it does bring out the ugly out of people, that you don't recognize this person anymore. So when you're in the honeymoon phase, you tend to be stupid and think, there's no way he's ever going to do this to me. You do not know that. You don't know that. And you know what? And another thing, in the future, you may be earning more than him. And when you break up and he's taking all your things, women don't think about that.
You could pull Adele's husband.
Oh my God, that was so sad.
So I think prenups are a smart idea.
Do you not think you're setting yourself up
No.
for a breakup though? You're manifesting the relationship ending.
I think you'd be realistic about it. What is it? 1 in every 4 marriages end in divorce.
What is realistic about getting married though then?
I don't even understand why people see it as like you're setting yourself up for failure. No, we always have a plan B with everything in life. There's always safety things in everything in life. But when it comes to prenup, that's when people want to say, oh, why are you thinking about the negative? All right.
You would hope your marriage to work out because that's why you're getting married. But if it doesn't, and that is a good percentage that it doesn't, because you're not more special than other people who's getting divorced. You don't love this person any more than the other person loved their spouse. So you just have to consider, yes, I love you dearly and I want to spend the rest of my life with you. But if it doesn't, there should be some sort of a plan with getting ugly, a way to separate our assets. Okay, I will talk about, I want to talk about the horrible question presented to every woman from the week she gets married. When are you having children?
Do you know what? It's so hard because what if she can't have kids? Or what if she just doesn't want kids? Or what if his sperm count is shit, you know? Like every time you ask someone that, you're making them relive a shitty experience related to something.
But there is a timeline, isn't it? Like again, I'll speak from Somali community in Somalia. I can't speak for other people's community. If a woman doesn't get pregnant in the, like, let's say the first couple of months of marriage, people look at her sideways. Like, you're right.
Surely loads of people don't get pregnant in the first couple of months. Surely loads of people aren't that fertile.
Exactly. But no one cares. No one considers all of the other aspects. So what do you think? Do you think, well, first of all, would you want to have a baby soon after marriage, or would you enjoy a married life before you get knocked up?
I don't even have like that motherly instinct at the moment. So I don't even know how to answer this question. Nah, not soon after. I think everything, you should enjoy every phase in life that you're in. Enjoy being a newlywed and then plan on kids, I think.
But no one asks, well, and if they do, it's not as patronizing. Like, people don't present that question to men, why are you not having children? Like, the woman is not having a child with herself.
I know.
No, but we're the child bearers, so obviously we're the ones that have to be considering it, because we're the ones that are holding the babies. So the responsibility doesn't always fall on the man, because the man, for us, it's you have the responsibility of looking after this child. So I think that's why they posed the question to us as opposed to the men. Doesn't make it right. It is a shared responsibility at the end of the day.
You don't pregnant yourself.
Yeah, no, exactly.
I don't find that question to be rude, personally. I would never ask anyone that, but if anyone asked me that, I don't find it to be rude.
There's a reason why you wouldn't ask someone that, because you know it's not appropriate.
No, because it's not my business.
Okay, but say if something was going wrong.
Like, I wouldn't ask someone, how much money do you make? You know?
But you say it doesn't bother you, but say if you're in that situation and things are going wrong.
Of course, it's not, whenever something bothers you, it's because you're going through it. But if I'm not going through it,
at all, and someone asks you, I don't know, but if you're getting it all the time, because like where I come from, you're gonna get asked all the time. People have kids a lot later in my community than ever before now. Like before, they used to have kids at 22, 23. Now they're having kids at like 27, 28. So it's a lot later. So that means a lot later just means there's 6 more years of when are you getting married? When are you having kids? When are you having kids? Oh, you're not going to have a kid? Do you get what I mean? So
like, it's none of your business. So I am not even in that situation. I still get asked, oh, are you having a baby? Oh, so? Or if I like say, oh, I don't like this food, or if I'm like not feeling well, people like look at me, ooh, are we expecting then? It's like, none of your fucking business.
Yeah, I just think it's stupid to assume, and to be, if a woman doesn't want to eat this, or she said, I'm not going to drink tonight, or she's put on weight, which is the dumbest thing ever, to think she's pregnant because she's put on weight. I just find those things stupid. But to be just curious to ask, like, are you thinking of having a child? You've been married 1 year now. That would not bother me at all.
Say if you were to have kids, say if you were to get married, Sharon, when what do you think the appropriate timeline to have kids would be?
I don't know.
Like a year,
I'm not interested in kids at the moment, but as I said, I think you would want to enjoy being married for a year or two.
There's so much hard work. So much. Like, I have a niece and I love her to death. Like, she just says stupid words and I die. I actually die. And I don't know what that feeling is. I didn't know what that felt like before, right? But she is so much work. After like 2 hours, I'm like done. To maintain another body for that long is just draining.
And it's a lot. Some people are not ready. Like, honestly, some people are not ready to put their body and mind through so much. They're not.
But I know one day I would want to have kids, and I know once I get that feeling, I know I would just be so excited. At the moment, like, I can wait.
I think we need to remove the conversation that don't ask women if they are going to have a child or blah, blah, because they might be struggling, they might be having this and that. Some people are not struggling, and I think we should not just excuse it when there's pain attached to it. We should just say no, because it's no one's damn business.
No one's business. It's no one's business. I think it's the same with everything. When you're talking to someone, people are like, it's just life. It's just people. They just always want to push you to do the next thing. Like, so when is he going to ask you to be your boyfriend? Or when are you guys going to move in? When are you guys going to get married? And you get married when you don't have kids. Do you know what I mean? It's,
When.
yeah.
And it's never good enough. It's not, it's like it'll happen and then it'll be on to the next when.
You're thinking of another kid. It's yeah. Sorry.
In Somalia, which I think is ridiculous and like scientifically wrong, if a woman, let's say a couple are married and they're having children, if they only have daughters, the woman is to blame. She can't have sons.
So insane, considering it's the men's
Who decide?
Determines the sex.
Yeah, it's the men who determines the sex of your child. But somehow that is placed on a woman. In Somalia, if a woman only has daughters, people will be like, he needs to find another wife because this woman only gives birth to daughters.
Oh yeah, the woman who gives you the first
Son.
boy is the
one.
The one.
That's so strange, because I'd say my family told me that in Islam, so 3 daughters is a blessing.
But do you know why though?
No.
They say a man who raises 7 daughters goes to heaven without question, and 3 daughters are blessing because women are considered such a hard work, and a man who can bring up 7 or 3 perfectly good women, basically he's climbed Mount Everest. What else is there to do?
You know, there's this big project on Instagram called the Pink Laddu Project, which is basically about how loads of South Asian communities, they don't celebrate girls' births as much as they celebrate men's. And so when boys are born, they'll distribute laddus, or some laddus, which is basically like a round Asian sweet, which are like the prime sweet, right? And so what they now promote, that it's a huge project, so much following. What they now promote is also distributing sweets when you have girls, to make sure that you're giving equality. And it's such a small, tiny thing, but it's like from the second that child is born, you are differentiating that this is to be celebrated and this is not to be celebrated. And I'm not speaking for the Afghan community, I'm just talking about South Asians in general.
In Somalia, we have something, I would say it's equivalent of christening. Or maybe not all Somalis, but my community in where I grew up, like they had that. And it's called Wakalal, which is a form of christening. And they only do it when they have a son, and it's a huge celebration. I mean, they kill animals. It is a huge celebration. All the people come to the town, and all the townspeople come to your house, and all the elders and all the religious people come and bestow their wisdom, and they read the Quran and everything. They don't do it for daughters. They only do it for sons.
Do you think if you were to have children, you would want to do it for?
I mean, I wouldn't do it generally because I really don't see the point in it. But if I was to do it for one child, absolutely I'll do it for the other child. If they think I'm crazy, they think I'm crazy.
Some people just won't turn up.
Yeah, they wouldn't. But they might show up for the free food. But yeah, I think from the moment we're born, we're told that we're not good enough, and our worth is attached to the happiness we can bring to a man. And that's what marital expectations are. Your worth is if you can bring up children, especially male children, can make his family happy, be a servant, and that's it. So, and when we flip the script and say, what about stay-at-home fathers? Loads of them, it's becoming more of a thing. A lot of fathers are choosing to be stay-at-home dads.
But it is changing. Like, it's not always, I think we're very quick to be like, okay, women are this, women are that, and I understand they are, a lot of the time they are. But for example, I know someone who, she got married and she moved out of her in-laws, and she stayed like that for a year, and she was dying. She wanted to come back, and she liked living in that bigger family, and she works as well. So it doesn't always have to be.
Communities, well, the South Asian community loves to commend a man no matter what they do. So it's, oh, that's very good of you. It's so good of you to stay at home with your child. You must love your child very much. But it must be for women, it would be, but why don't you want to be at home? But why don't you want to be with your child? You should love your child. Why aren't you with them? So that's how I feel in regards to what I've seen in my own community. I don't know about you, Gunjan, and what you've seen, but that's my experience.
Speaking from my perspective, if my partner was to say that he wanted, this is after we've had kids, yeah, I'm thinking about this, okay, we've had a child, or we're about to have a child, I'm 6 months pregnant, and he's like, okay, I want to stay home and take care of the kid. I would be crazy surprised, first of all, because I usually go for really, really ambitious men who have like a really strong work drive. And I find, and if that person was to suddenly turn around and say they wanted to take care of my kid 24/7, like, I know that's free daycare, but at the same time, I don't know if I would be a little bit put off by it. And I know that's really bold to say, but I think I might be a little bit put off by it if my partner said that to me.
Woo! God, Jesus.
That's really crazy, but it was.
What's your take on stay-at-home moms then? Are they not
That's
ambitious?
the thing. I'm like, no, it's not that. It's for me. I have such high expectations of me, and if I'm always telling myself that if I ever have kids, I'm always going to keep on pursuing big things and these visions that I have in my head. I'm not going to forget it, because you do see a lot of people make sacrifices because they have children and they want to give them a good upbringing. And for me, it's always been important that I don't sacrifice so much that I lose my identity. So if it's so strong for me, then I probably have the same sort of expectation of my partner.
True, but what's your take on stay-at-home moms?
That's literally their personal choice. My sister just had a child.
Because you said if you're...
You said someone has a drive.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that's my partner, and that's the sort of people I usually go for. And because I have such expectations of myself, I have the same expectations.
The reason I asked what your view on stay-at-home moms is because you said your partner, if he decided to stay at home,
was an ambitious.
He's not ambitious. So that's why I'm asking. So,
which is why I'm saying that my expectation of him is based on the expectations I have for myself. I'm not reflecting that on other women, is what I'm saying. I don't look at stay-at-home women and think they're not ambitious. That's their personal choice and that's personal lifestyle. But I'm saying I expect this of myself, so I expect that of my partner.
Another thing you said was if you stayed at home, it was hooray because it was a free daycare. A father looking after their children is not free daycare. It is a responsibility. It's a parental responsibility.
Of course it is, but it is so expensive.
Yeah, but
I know some women who don't work. Pardon? I can't hear you.
To stay at home with her children, no one sees it as a free daycare. So a father who stays at home, it's not free daycare.
A lot of women that I know choose not to go back to work, because it costs as much to go back to work to pay in daycare than it does to earn the money that you're at work. Yeah. So for themselves, I see it as they're actually it is their parental responsibility, but what they're doing is they'd rather stay at home and look after the child than put them through daycare, because it's not cost efficient. It doesn't make sense to them. It's like, why would I pay to be away from my child and then not make any money on top of it? Which is why I referred to it as daycare.
Okay, all right. But just to say out there, stay-at-home mothers are not ambitious. I think no hard work is equivalent to motherhood.
I've seen my sister go through it since Garvey was born last year, December and May. It's not an 8-hour job, it's a 24-hour job.
Do you know,
Literally.
I've had women who go back to work after being stay-at-home moms say that going to work is like their peace-ish, if that makes sense. That's the moment of rest. So that's how hard it is to stay at home and be a stay-at-home wife and stay-at-home mom. And I think a lot of people really look at it as something easy to do. But I've honestly had a few women say like going back to work was like amazing to have like this peace and this freedom almost. Yeah.
Okay. well, going back to ambition and earnings, as Gunjan perfectly led us there, we hear the argument all the time: if your wife earns more than you, then you're not good enough. There have been some men asking their wives to quit their jobs. It doesn't matter how comfortable their life is, because his ego is bigger than that. But there are some women who don't like earning more than their husbands, because that kind of is the war between masculinity and femininity. So how would you feel some way if you're earning more than your man?
No.
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 Well, actually, I take it back. It depends what salary I'm on. If I'm on 18K and I'm earning more than you, then
Why?
So, I mean, because then we're struggling a little bit, you know, in that sense.
What if
Just that sense.
and he was 16K? Would that be okay?
If I was what?
16 and he was an 18.
No, it's just that little area, because you know, in this day we live in, you have to be earning a lot of money to.
Like you said, if you were on 18 and he was on less than that, then it would not be okay. But if it was the other way around, like, would that be okay?
No, it won't be okay at all, because it's just that bracket. I'm not shaming anyone's wage or whatever. Listen, we all start from somewhere. But what I'm saying is, if we're older, we're in our 30s, 40s, and we're on that wage, there's more responsibility, and we've got kids. That's what I'm saying in terms of struggling. Yes, but if I'm on like 40 and he's on 35, if I'm on 50, 60, do you know what I mean? If we're earning more than 18, 17, you know what I mean? Yeah, I wouldn't mind. If we're earning enough to live the lifestyle that we want, why should he be bothered if I earn more than him?
Okay, what if
at the end of the day, the money is for the household.
But what if you're a man saying, actually, I feel emasculated by this, therefore...
No.
And isn't that just his fragile masculinity coming in? And that's an issue that he has within himself that he has to resolve.
Yeah, it's like, that's not a me problem, that's a you problem, you know?
But that
would really put me off, though. Like, as soon as a man says that, God.
Is that really the man?
I don't want the man I'm married to, the man who's going to raise my kids along with me, to think like that. You're not going to teach my daughter that. You're not going to teach my son that.
I think that's what we need to think about. When this man or this woman who is saying something horrible, what are you teaching your children?
No, thank you.
Toxic ideas to my children, simple as that.
But I do hear men say, though, if they were earning a lot, they wouldn't want the wives to work. Men take pride in that area.
They do, men take pride.
Yeah, but that's just the old traditions that we have about men being the breadwinners, and that's pretty much the whole system that we've had, and that's why they're so proud to be these men providing for their wives because they earn so much money. It's all about splashing the dollar. It's not about actually caring for the wife, is it really?
Do you know, I don't know if this is problematic to say, but...
Just say it. I've said so many problematic things so far. Back me up.
I don't mind if a man takes pride in providing for his family. I don't think that makes him a bad person to say, I want to earn enough so that my wife does not work. I think that's something actually I think all men should aspire to that almost. As in, don't stop her from doing what she wants to do. But if you're saying you want to earn so much to give your wife this lifestyle so that she doesn't have to work, go for it.
But you have to be on the same page as your wife. There are some women, a lot of women, who don't work for the money. They don't work for that independence. So you have to know who your partner is. And there are some women who would happily stay at home and let their husbands provide for them. So I think that is the couple, depending on the couple, rather than a man saying, whatever woman I marry, I'll be working so hard and be so rich, therefore she won't work.
Yeah, but as you said, it's the woman's choice. If she's okay with that, then I think that's the best of both worlds. Have you seen that woman getting out of her car? And people asking her, what do you do? And she's like, I'm a wife.
I aspire to be that woman. No, but
Yeah.
there are people who enjoy working person, and I'm not one of those people. If someone would provide for me, so I just stay at home and do my thing and go to brunches, please do it.
Can I ask a question? If you was, do you know how men tend to date lower than them? Like Zac Efron right now is dating that waitress that he met somewhere. You never really see it the other way around. You never see a Beyonce or a Rihanna dating a cashier. Do you know what I mean?
Not cashier, but they do date men less than them. Was it Mariah Carey?
Yeah, but as I said, Najma, it will be like I'm on 50K, they're on 45K. While men will be on like 100, dating a woman on minimum wage.
It's because that again goes back to that age-old thing. The man should be the provider. No one cares how much a woman is earning. Does it? When we consider a suitable man from family's perspective, right? Your family, especially my background, you would think about how much money he has, how wealthy his family are, not if he's a good person or not. But when
you as Najma, if you was on 100K,
yeah,
would you date someone on minimum wage?
That's a hard one. It is a hard
Ali, would you?
To be honest, on that salary, you'd question why they want to be with you. Is it you or is it money? Like, go on.
But also, if I am in a place where I have worked that hard, that I am earning, because no one's born earning that much money unless you're filthy rich, but I have worked day and night to get there. The person I'm with probably would be around the same age as me. Why are you on a minimum wage? Like, have you lost your job?
Okay, let's say not minimum wage, even if there was on 20K, 25, 30.
But when I'm a 40-year-old man on 20K, is how long have you been there? Are you walking towards something, or you're comfortable being a?
Maybe it's a pandemic and people have lost their jobs.
Well, then
so you're just
extenuating circumstances.
But would you take out why he's on 20K? Would you found someone that you like? You're Zac Efron, right? You've walked into Nando's. Someone has served you food. You find them good looking.
If I have the money for us to be comfortable, why not?
Grover, would you?
No.
Why?
Look, I do agree with Najma. It does come down to context, but if I'm earning like 100K and I'm like rich, and I don't know though, if you're really I'm at Nando's, you're really good looking, it's a good flirt. I'm rich, you know. Like, do I care?
I'll take you out of the situation you're in, my friend.
I'm now fantasizing earning 100K, and now I'm thinking, if you're really good looking, you're a good person, and I like to hang out with you. I don't know.
But I think as women, we don't give a man a chance if he's not on our level or above us.
And I think we need to get rid of that idea.
We do, absolutely.
And that is not only stopping us from finding good people, but also it's putting a lot of pressure on men's shoulders.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Ali, would
that pressure?
I'd have to say equally enough, though, if somebody like that person on minimum wage could be the most nicest person going, somebody earning the same salary as you could be egotistical and just not with it. So who would you pick out of that? I'd definitely pick minimum wage. Like, all you want at the end of the day is somebody who's going to treat you right.
Yeah.
Again, it depends on the person. It truly depends on the person and why they're there. If you are a 50-year-old mopping, Nando's floors, but with nothing, and you don't have any reasons to why you're there. Like, I understand some people, hard life happens. None of us can control. But if you are comfortable being there, you've been there for the last 30 years, you have no reason, or you don't see the point in changing, then I would be like, well, that is not the kind of person I want around myself, around my family.
I agree. It shows absolute lack of ambition and drive. And it's like, if you're not going to have ambition and drive in yourself, where are you going to have that going forward?
Mm-hmm.
But as Sharon said, if the pandemic and there's no jobs, please, let's take whatever we get. I would rather than a millionaire who's just sitting on his ass and doing nothing.
I personally think if I can afford it, okay, and you're not really going to change, if you're not going to change my lifestyle, and you don't have, if you're not coming with so much debt that I have to pay off, let's make it happen. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you believe that eventually, because they're on minimum wage, right, and you like to live a certain lifestyle, and you're gonna pay for everything in general, right? We're on 100K, we're paying for everything. So, do you think there can ever be any built-up resentment towards? Because
That's my thing.
I've seen that like a little while down the road, because at the beginning it doesn't matter. A little while down the road, you're still paying the way for your partner to enjoy the same luxuries that you have.
This is my thing. How do you think men feel then?
When that happens to women, I don't know. I personally try to make financials an equal thing when I'm dating.
No, 100%. But what I'm saying is men do it all the time. They take care of you. They pay for your lifestyle. So, well, if I'm in that man's position and I'm earning the same as him, why wouldn't I do the same for my man that I love? Why am I going to be resentful? I knew what I was getting myself into.
I will happily work if my husband decides to be a stay-at-home father and provide. But I see no fault in that whatsoever.
If you can afford it, why not?
Because at the end of the day, women do it, and I think we should extend that courtesy to men.
Oh, exactly. We keep hearing now in like the news and articles, men that want more paternity pay and, you know, staying at home with their children because they want to bond with their children. And you know what? Fair play. Go for it. I'd be the same as you, Najma. I'd want to, you know, go out and provide, because I know the sentiment would probably be the other way around as well. It'd be a mutual thing.
Absolutely. Okay. I have a tricky question, and I think I struggle with this personally. Like, if someone presents this to me, I'll still struggle. When it comes to choosing a partner, our families have a say in whether we like it or not. Especially being ethnic, our family have a great deal of say in it.
When it comes to what?
To choosing a partner.
Choosing. I thought you said losing a partner. I was like, what?
I'm losing a partner sometimes.
Yeah.
There's a lot more emphasis put on the girl's family saying no to a man, or what, like a girl's father can literally say, no, I don't want you to marry this man. Because she is the one who's losing everything, right? She's the one who's practically being brought up to go to a new family.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think you personally would be okay with it or you would do what your family tells you if they say, no, I don't like this man?
I've never introduced someone to my parents before.
Hypothetically speaking, what would you do?
Yeah, that's what I'm struggling to think of a situation where I introduce someone.
I think for me, the sacrifice will be far too greater, personally.
Yeah, I feel you. I can't give up my family for no one, man. If it means I'm gonna lose my family, I can't. But as you said, I'll definitely resent them.
Yeah, but they can't tell me anything. I'll be like, remember when you did that to me?
Yeah. Oh, hell yeah.
I feel like, though, if your family love you, they should back you. If you have this absolute, like, genuine belief that this person is right for you, and you can feel it right within you, and you say to them, look, honestly, I genuinely believe I can spend the rest of my life with this person. Say you haven't introduced anyone to them before. they should know that it's serious and they should back you. If they are then saying, no, we don't want you to do this, you are then letting them have their own selfish ways and their own beliefs. And then it filters down, if you know what I mean, because then you're going to be miserable for the rest of your life, just thinking, this is the man that I wanted. I mean, life is way too short to say, yes, I'm going to bend to my parents' every rule. And in my opinion, I would say, I respect your opinion. Give me some justifications as to why. And if it's on the basis that, yes, it's an Englishman, then I'd go, okay, that's not right. And I'd say, if there's no actual justifications as to why you think this wouldn't go ahead, as in, is this person a terrible person? Do you get a bad vibe? Or this, that, the other? Then I would just go, there's nothing behind your reasoning to say why this shouldn't go ahead.
I agree with what Ali was saying. Like, when she said that that's your life, it is really true, you know, like, this is my life that I'm really giving up. Like, I could have built a whole life with this other person, you know, and my family has really gone ahead and just ruined my life.
So, Groves, what would you do if your family like literally said, nope, we don't want this man, end of discussion. He's a good man, we don't care. No.
For me, yeah, I agree with what Alwina said. The why really matters. If it's something that's like particularly petty, then it's something that I'm not giving up the apparent love of my life for. But if it's something like my sister's a really good judge of character, if she really thinks that this person's not a good person, then I really want to hear it. Why? You know? And like, sometimes we are great judges of character and sometimes we're not. So maybe we do need to hear other people's perspectives on the person that we're seeing. But if my parents were to say, if you don't get with this person, I am cutting you the fuck out, I don't know if I could handle that. I'm like, close to my family. I still live with them. I love them, man. Am I giving up so many relationships for one relationship? I don't know. It's a big
I don't know. See, the way that I think of it is, I mean, your parents, that just shows their character. If they're willing to throw you away for one person, it says a lot about them. I mean, I know you're meant to love your parents and everything, but if your family are toxic and they hold toxic views, like, no, go, leave, as a parent, I'd say that's questionable. It's like giving someone an ultimatum, really.
100%. And I'm not justifying that a family, what they're doing is right? Like, that's a terrible for the reason of being, for the sake of being terrible. And they say, okay, either this person or us, and there's no valid reason for it, there's no justification. They're just doing that for the sake of doing, to just make their children miserable. But for me, even in that case, I define myself in the context of my family. Like, they are for me, is a huge pillar of my being. So that would be as much as toxic and as whatever they might be, that would be a too great of a sacrifice for me to be able to make.
Seriously, I don't even know how I could live without my family. But I could definitely live without this man that I love so much. 100%. It's not going to be easy.
It won't be easy. You know, it will not be easy. And I will still recognize my family are toxic and they're not good people. But it is kind of, they are my bad people.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Every Christmas, I'll be bringing it up. Every Christmas, every birthday, I'll be like, happy birthday to you, you ruined my life. Honestly.
Joining me in thanking Ali for joining us. This was really, really fun and we loved having you. And you're welcome any other time.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Well, it's been our pleasure. Yeah, and thank you for listening or watching this episode. And we'll see you next week.